And as of this coming December, we are going to have another cut that might be 12 to 16% cut, minus 12 to 16% of your monthly cut. And because we've cut everybody so much, half of the people that are already retired can't be cut anymore because they're already pulled to their base. And so that if you were retired before 2001, like me, you will get a 12 or 16% cut.
To your base.
To your base.
Yeah.
And you just keep right going on, and the more cuts that there are, the more people will no longer be able to be cut because they'll be at their base. So the cut has to be taken by fewer and fewer people,
Right.
which means it's more and more money.
Right. So last couple of facts, just to kind of echo what Buzz just said. How many? I think you all may have picked up the sheet. It's the performance history of the WRS. It's a great sheet. It compares the core fund on one side to the variable fund on the other. And this is good for a couple of reasons. One is we've talked about the defined contribution program and defined benefit program. The variable fund is kind of a quasi defined contribution program. You get instantaneous results. Whatever happens on Wall Street, it shows up right there, right now in your account through the WRS. If you look at the far right-hand column, those of you, how many of you still have some variable fund exposure? Okay, so you know what I'm saying. You get a sense of this because you can see how it's done pretty well in the years that the market is doing okay. It's done pretty well, and you get some great results. However, the next year, look what happened in 2008, a 40% drop in 1 year in your account, for those of you that had variable. If you go to the other side, the core fund is managed as a true defined benefit program. Look how stable that was over the roughly, 30 or 25 years of its life until 2008. And so what Buzz just said is true. The way the fund works is that there's a 5-year, and the people that put this fund together were very clear thinkers. They understood that if something bad really happens, we cannot, because it's a defined benefit program, we want to smooth out those losses over enough years that you don't get a massive slap in the pocketbook, 1 year. So it's a 5-year rolling average, and as Buzz just said, if the fund does not hit a 7.2% performance plus this year, that is, if it's not up 7.2% as measured by SWIB's index, the losses are going to be 12 to 16% for all current annuitants in the core fund who are not already at their base. So those of you that retired back in the early 2000s or late 90s, your dividend, because you're above your base, probably, I would guess you should be by now, and are, but you'll be taken back then to around, I think from the COA meeting, Buzz, wasn't it? They're projecting that if they hit the 7.2% performance mark, then the dividend accounts that are going to be taken to their base will probably be through like 1999 or so. That's what I recall.
Through 2002.
2002, okay.
That's 88,000 annuitants, 58% of all of the people who have retired, or their spouses if they died. 58% of those people, as of December 31st, will no longer be touchable because they're at their base.
Right. So anyway, again, just some future news that's not good news, but the system anticipated this, and we can survive this. But as Buzz said, to kind of wrap up at least my final comments, this floor guarantee, yes, it's a guarantee, but can it be changed? Absolutely. And no legislature can hold a future legislature to past needs and past actions. And so if Walker and the Republicans stay in office, and if this report just spanks our system big time, and if the market would take, another example is, what would happen if Wall Street doesn't figure out what it did wrong, that they haven't apparently, 4 to 5 years ago, and we get another major worldwide or equivalent major downturn? Can the system support another major hit of, let's say, a 30 to 40% drop over the course of a couple of years, not well is the answer. And so at that point in time, depending on who's in office, they may have to come back and revisit 4019 of the statutes and say, you know what, we can't do that guarantee anymore, at least for any new employees. Now, they may keep old employees held at their old base floor of whatever your floor is, but at least for new employees coming in, a proscriptive answer, anybody new that's still out there, they may say, you know what, I'm sorry, we cannot offer that guarantee anymore. If we need to hit your if we need to hit your annuity to protect the rest of the system, we're gonna change the law, and they can do that. So it's a guarantee, it's there for us, and as long as the legislature leaves their hands off this thing, it actually can work and protect itself and be self-correcting. If they keep doing what they're doing, all bets are off for the future in some ways. So,
So what can we do? What's happening in slow motion for the last 30 years has been a tsunami that has gone and swept over all the retirement systems and ruining it. And they haven't got, the water hasn't hit the public sector ones too much. Now the people in power and all of their think people that have PhDs at these think tanks that are right wing are producing all this stuff to be able to knock off the public sector pension funds across the United States. Some of them have been poorly managed, ours hasn't. So they want to knock them off. And so even if we say on this June 5th that Mr. Walker, you're out of work, go look for a job somewhere else, that will slow it down, but it won't stop it, because this is a national effort with most of the money people behind it. So that's number one. Number two, the people that can fight with us, there's two groups. Us as workers and retirees and our families, and then the other ones are unions. So AFSCME is put together and has been operating a effort to fight back on the pension fund issue. AFSCME, WEAC, AFT, all the rest of the unions are together in this AFSCME group. But they're fighting for a recall at the same time, so they can only do just so much. But anyway, they got national experts helping them determine how to fight. And the push will be, the issue is not whether public employees have pension funds that are good. The issue is, why don't you have a good pension fund? And how can we help you get a pension fund and you get a pension fund that will be good for your kids and good for yourself, so that you can live in what we always say are the three-legged stool for retirement. Number one, you have to have Social Security. Without Social Security, you're shot. You're back living just like Grandma and Grandpa did in the back room of the kid's house, upstairs, downstairs, wherever it is. And the boys are trying to mess up Social Security. Number two, you have to have a private sector or your public sector pension fund. And number three, you have to have savings. So today, most of the families aren't earning enough to have savings. They used to have pension funds. We're gutting the pension funds, and the rest of the boys and girls at the national level, along with the same 1%, are trying to mess up Social Security. So you have to be able to fight, and that's what we have to fight about. So when this study comes out, I am sure that we're going to have a big rally and press conference at the Capitol to either say what a wonderful study, or this study is a piece of shit and this is what has to be changed right now. And you have to go into that Capitol and say, this is it.
Protest.
The legislator, and he'll say, well, now, Buzz, I'm with you, but could you explain that to me again? And we'll explain it to him again, or him or her, until they get it. And then if they don't get it, they should be in another job in November. So,
You did it.
okay, we're not email for Marshall. So we have a nice AFT PowerPoint, not AFT, I'm with AFT, AFT PowerPoint by Susan McMurray, who is their top lobbyist, and she really knows what she's doing. Anyway, she has a nice PowerPoint which we can send out to everybody, or you can send out to everybody.
And we have some good news. Obviously, as you can tell, Buzz and I talk a lot. It's part of what we've always done in our lives. So you didn't have time for your questions and answers, but here's what Marcia has told me. How many of you know where the Jefferson Square Community Center is? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's on DeForest Street.
Okay.
And so John Sapansky, who lives in that neighborhood, he is a member of that and has full use of that facility. So if any of you would like to follow us over there, it's just down the road, about 5 blocks from here. And we can sit in a lot more comfortable setting than this.
And I guess there's beer, is there beer there?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't promise beer,
Yeah.
although sometimes there is. But you're welcome to come.
Just
And
Q&A and informal stuff.
Yes.
That you didn't,
And I
sorry
don't
we
know
didn't give
if
you a chance.
you guys can manage to come over, but if
Oh,
you,
yeah.
oh, you come, all right, that's a plus too. I didn't even know that. So, we need to get out of here in 5 minutes. And John has already gone over there to open it up, and we can meet him there if you feel like coming. There's a lot more information. I know there's a lot more information from Roger and Buzz. So please come, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm impressed
Fight
that
on.
you guys all.
Great Panthers.
Thank you.
Don't give up.